For tax incidence, I wrote, is the effect of a particular tax in the distribution of economic welfare. So when talking about economic welfare, do you think consumers are the only ones that take care of economic welfare? Do you think if consumers are the only ones that pay taxes, do you think the economy will move forward? Consumers are basically those who consume. They don't invest in capital goods. So if all the burden is shifted to consumers, what happens to producers? What are they going to be able to do? So tax burden does not basically talk about consumer. It's strictly about who bears the burden at a particular point in time and what type of goods we are talking about. Do you know we have some goods that are priced elastic? Do you know we have some goods that are priced inelastic? So what happens when these goods we are talking about, when the price elasticity of supply and the price elasticity of demand is elastic or inelastic? So tax burden does not simply mean it goes to consumers. So when I start analyzing the graph, you understand better. Okay, is it clear, please? So that's about tax incidence. Then we go into, okay, let's quickly talk about this graph. The incidence of a specific tax. Here, the position of the incidence of a specific tax, the position of an indirect tax of this per unit push up the supply curve from S1 to S2. The vertical distance between the two supply curves at any given output is this. As a consequence, the equilibrium price will rise from this amount to this. The consumer therefore pays an extra of this per unit. The other this is paid by who? Producers. So who says tax is paid by consumers alone? No. Yeah? Where? In the book?
Yes.
But we're talking about here now. Just look at the graph. This is the textbook you're using, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's focus on here. Forget about what you've written in the past. So, the tax incidence here, there's a burden on consumers and producers. Here, consumers are going to pay, we said, the price is this. Initially it is this, and this is the price right now, based on taxes. So, the extra is being paid by this, and the extra of this is being paid by producers. Why will producer pay this kind of amount? Producer will be paying this kind of amount because the demand for such goods is priced inelastic. Do you get what I'm saying here? If it's priced inelastic, it means whatever price it is there to pay, consumers will be willing to pay. So the only time producers will shift the burden on tax to consumers is because the demand for such product is priced inelastic. Do we get it now? So the incidence of tax here is being shared between producers and consumers, not only consumers. Or does it say that it's shared, the burden is on consumers alone here? No. So both consumers and producers are paying. Here producers are paying less because the burden of economic welfare is shifted to consumers. That's why we said the incidence of tax is the effect of a particular tax, a specific tax, in the distribution of economic welfare. So if government has imposed tax, government would have done that for a specific reason. Do we get it, please? Any question about this now? So now let me analyze this. The price before tax. This is the price before tax. The price after tax. This is the price after tax. So the supply before tax is this. The supply after tax is what? S2. Do we get the difference here? The quantity before tax, the quantity after tax. Do we get it, please? Yes. So what I'm saying is this: as soon as tax is being imposed by government, the amount we have to pay as consumers will increase. Yes or no? As a result of that, the demand for the product would fall. Firms will not be willing to produce further because there's no tendency of selling more as they used to sell. So that's why the supply curve will shift what? Leftward from S1 to S2. Do we get it, please? Do we understand what I'm trying to analyze here? This is the price. There's a price before now, and there's a price after now. The price before the tax is being imposed is called the price before tax, or the price without tax. The price after tax is being imposed is called the tax with tax, the price with tax. The quantity supplied, the supply curve, this is the supply before tax. This is the supply with tax. The quantity was this, now the quantity is this. because the burden is now shifted to consumers. And not all consumers will be willing to pay such exorbitant price. Do we understand tax incidence now? So here is what tax incidence is, and this is basically a typical example of tax incidence, where the burden has to be shifted between producers and consumers. Is it clear? Is it clear, please? Yes. So you try to draw this graph and write S2, S1. S1, supply without tax. Yeah, money. S2, supply with tax. One, price. Tax. Two, price. This was tax.
So what's the
Hold on, please. Yes.
So the incidence of tax, will it increase the supply or decrease it?
If it's basically on consumers, one thing you should put in mind about the incidence of taxes, is it elastic or inelastic? Sorry, please. There's a classroom.
What chapter is this?
We continue with the last class, incidence of tax. So yeah, like I'm saying, if it is inelastic, if the demand for such product is inelastic, demand will continue because that product is a product that consumers will be willing to pay. Supply will increase. But if the product is price elastic, it means it's basically on price. Consumers will not be willing to buy because it's linked to how much more we want to buy as consumers. Do you get it? The price is elastic or inelastic will determine if the burden is mostly on consumers or mostly on producers. Do we get it now? So I think we understand what our P2 is here now. The price at which tax is being charged, which is H, and the quantity. These are linked with tax. These are linked without tax. Do we get the analysis of the graph now, please? Do we get the analysis or not?
Yes.
The first analysis is about, stop writing, please. Because you would need, in the exams, you would need to analyze graphs for me. So it's better you put your mind here now. Stop writing, please. This is a graph analysis of what I have done here. Government will impose tax. But when it comes to about incidence of tax, we have to think about how elastic it is and how inelastic it is. If the goods we're talking about is inelastic, if it is perfectly inelastic, it means whatever price it is there to pay, consumers will be willing to pay because we needed the product. But if it is price elastic, it means it is determined by consumers here. So they don't want to pay when the price is high. So the burden goes to producers. So here, because there's an incidence of tax, producers, the quantity supplied in the market would fall from S1 or will contract from S1 to S2 as a result of a new tax price. So this is the price with tax. The price with tax will shift the supply curve leftward. The price without tax will shift the supply curve rightward from S2 to S1. So just imagine government reduces tax here. As soon as government reduces tax, what happens? Quantity supplied in the market would increase. Because at that point in time, the cost of production would also fall. And there's always going to be an incentive to produce further. So why do you want to produce goods when you're not certain that it's going to be sold in the market? That's why producers are conscious here. They don't want to supply more so that it becomes waste for them. Do we get it now? So a relief of tax increases supply curve, shifts the supply curve rightward. A burden on tax brings the supply curve leftward. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Is it clear from this side? Clear. All right, we can write it down.